Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Sorry, I'm starting a little bit early. I want to get a few things in before I bring my guest on. Okay, so I appreciate you guys for being here. It really, really does mean a lot. Okay, hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful, prosperous Saturday. Because why? Another day above the dirt is always what? A blessing. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. Okay? We should always remember that. It's Saturday, guys. Hopefully you guys are all getting everything you need to get done. Hopefully you're not doing anything at all. Hopefully you're just chilling, enjoying a drink, enjoying some coffee, tea, whatever, chilling out, enjoying your time, enjoying some time with your loved ones and all of that as well. Okay? So hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. We got some things we got to talk about. This is something new and old all at the same time. But we got to talk about it because I think this is very interesting. In light of everything that's been going on out here in these pop culture streets, let's just be real. This is very interesting. And it's very timely, if you ask me. But before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Okay? Crush that like button, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms, okay? Don't forget to hit that follow button. I'm on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, I am on Rumble. Please follow me over there on Rumble as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe here to my main channel here. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. This is all on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe on that secondary channel. I got another video that's basically up there, I think, in about now. Okay, still following the Diddy case and all that stuff that's been going on. It's been absolutely crazy. So we will be talking about more about that in the very near future. But a little change of pace this morning. Something interesting's going on in an old case, and we definitely got to talk about it. So make sure you subscribe to both channels, The Pascal Show and The Pascal Show Clips, all right? And follow. Okay, please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. Check out Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Of course, I got locals as well, locals.com/The Pascal Show. And of course, I got that merch. Go check out pascalmerch.com. Okay, guys, getting all the mucky muck out the way because we got to get straight into this. Something's really interesting that's going on as of late, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys know about the Menendez brothers case, these two brothers that unalived their parents in their posh suburban home. Okay, father was a big-time record exec, made millions and millions of dollars. This was basically a family of nothing but, at least on the surface, nothing but wealth, affluence, etc. Only to find out that these two kids, these two brothers, took the lives of their parents in the most grisly, most unthinkable ways. Now, there have been many trials in regards to the Menendez brothers. There's been accusations from both brothers basically saying that they were, and we got to use these code words, guys, but they were viciously mistreated, for lack of a better term. I know that's not even doesn't even scratch the surface of what they say that they went through at the hands of their allegedly monstrous father. And this is one of the main reasons why they say they took the life of their father and also their mother. These two came in with shotguns and, of course, took aim at their parents and took their lives. Now, again, lots of trials. They've had many trials. Of course, they were found guilty finally, and now they've been spending decades in prison. But now there's been something new that just came out, which over the past couple days. So I know I'm a little late to the party, but like I said, I wanted to make sure that we were able to talk about this, and of course, bring on a friend of the show, a new friend of the show, actually, to talk about this as well. And I'm really looking forward to having our new friend on the show. Been wanting to get her on the show for a long time, so this is very dope. But before we bring on our friend, we got to get into this article so we can get a better understanding of what's going on. Because I know that now it's kind of, well, there's been many documentaries, there's been many movies, Lifetime movies to the most recent Netflix movie that just came out just a few weeks ago, depicting the Menendez brothers in a very questionable way. Very questionable way, if you ask me. Okay. And apparently there's another Netflix documentary or show about the Menendez brothers coming out again next week. I think it's coming out Monday. So it's been absolutely interesting. But the DA just came out and saying that they are reopening an investigation into the Menendez trial because of a letter or letters that they found that were written allegedly months before the unaliving this absolute tragedy happened. Like I said, I'm very interested about this. It's very interesting. I got a lot of questions because I'm an inquisitive mother lover. But let's get into this article really, really quick before we get into everything. Okay. So could they be released from prison? Prosecutors review new evidence. New evidence, guys. Okay. So brothers Lyle and Erik Menendez, whose conviction for unaliving their parents came after one of the most lurid trials of the 1990s, and their case revisited in light of new evidence, prosecutors said. So, at a press conference, okay, just a few days ago, LA County DA has announced his office will review what he said is new evidence alleging the brothers were actually essayed by their father. Now, that's the thing. There's been a lot of arguments and a lot of debates back and forth asking whether or not these two are telling the truth. That were they really attacked in this vicious way by their father for years? Or was it just something where they were fibbing so that they actually have some sort of reason for what they did, not just because of money, because that's the other speculation. The father had millions and millions and millions of dollars, okay? And that's one of the things that that the prosecution at the time was putting out, saying that these kids were just money hungry. That's all they cared about. They didn't care about anything else. They just wanted that money that the dad had, right? And then, of course, a lot of people are wondering why was the mother's life taken if it was just the father that they were focused on. A lot of questions have been asked about this situation. So the two were convicted in 1989, taking the lives of Jose and Kitty Menendez in their Beverly Hills mansion. Okay. The review opens the door for a possible reevaluation of the brothers' prison sentences, as well as the chance that they could be retried or even released, y'all. Now, I know some people out here believe what they went through is what they went through, that they did go through what they went through. Shoot, even Kim Kardashian herself. Yeah, she's been out here throwing around her legal expertise. She even has put out a statement basically saying, release the Menendez brothers. Like I said, I have a lot of questions in regards to this. Again, they're going to be looking into these letters that have been, I guess, they've obtained to basically say these letters were written months before the murders. But before I go into this even further, of course, I want to bring on law enforcement and litigation expert and new friend of the show, Sonny Slaughter, to the show. Hello, hello.
Hey there, everyone. I'm so glad to be on with you with this topic. Happy Saturday.
Happy
And yes, I
Saturday.
hope everyone is having a great Saturday. It's actually nice here in DC. So.
Yeah. First off, I want to say, thank you so much for being here to kind of talk to us about this whole thing. I am really curious about this because again, this is an older trial. This is an older case. They've been locked up for decades. So how can the letters suddenly possibly maybe exonerate them?
So, when I heard this, I was like, oh, this is interesting because the SA stuff was brought out years ago. It was brought out during the trial. They kind of ignored it. But I think a part of that is the world of interpersonal violence has always, until now, kind of excluded men and boys from victimization, being identified as persons who could be subjected to violence and have those experiences. You would hear the organizations and many people, and I'm a domestic violence expert and all of that say, but I haven't been in this way, say, well, it's mostly women. And every time we put that caveat on there, I think it then allows for these type of cases to be ignored. And that could be, but if the DA's office is saying that they are reinvestigating, it is not just merely hearsay. This evidence must be substantial enough to believe that it warrants a significant investigation, because with an investigation, it requires resources. Okay. It requires them to actually put in something behind just the words. They have to put in manpower. They have to put in time. They have to reevaluate cases. And that is a lot of resources that should not be ignored. So the fact that they're looking at this again causes me to say, oh, there's a there somewhere.
But that's the thing, though. I guess one of the main questions I have instantly, right when I hear about the DA looking into these letters and all that stuff, well then, but why wasn't it shown decades ago? Why wasn't this stuff used as discovery, used as evidence, whatever, in trials in the past?
So, a set of fresh eyes always makes the difference. A new perspective, something new in technology, someone saying that there is something else that needs to be addressed. A lot of times, older investigations, like this, require someone to say, I believe that during the investigation, something was overlooked, something was not addressed, someone was, you get kind of what they call this bias lens sometimes in law enforcement, where they get so confirmation bias, where they get so focused on an individual, a thought process. There is no, I'm actually going to teach about this at the end of the month. There is no navigating other possibilities, other evidence, other information. And I think that's what happens in these type of cases. And that could be what happened here. Someone else said, no. And then you have outside pressure. You have attorneys like, Kim Kardashian has, now I think she's finished law school, but she's been attaching to herself to cases like this, like she did in a previous case that led to the release of someone. And remember, they've been incarcerated for decades. And you have to think, did they serve the time that they should have served and could have served based on the allegations today and what we currently know?
Yeah, this is so interesting because it just makes you wonder. Yes, a pair of fresh eyes. Yes, that's one thing, right? One thing, people going in and taking a look at certain letters and all that. But it does make you wonder about, fresh pair of eyes, or was this something that now it just makes you wonder if there was any corruption in the past. But then if you really think about it too, they went through many trials. I mean, the first trial was the name, it was a mistrial, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean? So and then finally, eventually they were found guilty of doing this. But it just makes me wonder, like, you've had all these times, all these opportunities. How could this not have been put on the table as possible evidence, as possible proof? Now, one thing I do want to share with you guys, though, because I know a lot of us are wondering about this too, like, what is the evidence, right? What is the evidence that they're reviewing? So a copy of a letter allegedly sent by Erik Menendez in 1988, and an affidavit from a former member of a 1990s boy band group called Menudo. You know, Ricky Martin was a part of this, guys, and all that stuff. Just so you know who Menudo is. I mean, it's a machine. It's a pop boy band pop music machine. And when the guys, what's interesting about Menudo, just a left turn, but when the boys become of age, when they hit puberty, they basically get kicked out and they get replaced by another young individual. And then, Menudo just continues on and on and on, just so you guys know. But this particular individual is accusing, former member was accusing Jose Menendez of R. Okay. And these are among the new potential pieces of evidence, according to the DA. So, of course, this particular Menudo former member, also alleged this in a documentary, which is also on Peacock. I've seen this in the past, and it's very interesting that, not only did we have this former member from Menudo speak out about, he did this to me too, that now you have a letter that was written by Erik Menendez in 1988, before the unalivings actually happened, suddenly unearthing right now as we speak as well. What are your thoughts on that? Because, I mean, is it enough? Let's be real. Is it enough to really set these men free? Let's not forget at the forefront of this whole thing,
right?
They took the lives of two people.
Yeah.
Period. So can they really walk?
Well, look how long they've already been incarcerated for, right? For double murder of their father and their mother. But I want you to think about, you said something earlier about how these cases kind of unfold, and is this evidence enough? Well, when we think about how many trials that they had and how much information was excluded. So when you think about the exclusion of information and potential evidence that they could be considering now that should have never been excluded, which is how a lot of these cases come about too. New evidence, exclusion of other evidence. And remember, when you place things in a trial on the record, you are preserving it for some other time. Now, they had exhausted all of their appeals. However, because appeals only last about 20 years or so, when you think about how you gather evidence and what the exclusion of evidence is just as powerful as the new evidence, which then backs up the exclusion of the evidence and any potential witnesses that may have not been allowed to go forward. So, a lot of times people say conspiracy. Well, sometimes it's bad lawyering. Sometimes it is bad operations and processes from DA's office. Now you're looking at a whole new DA. And a lot of times these cases don't come to light until there is a new DA in an office that says, I want to look at something that the old DA did. And then you start seeing this case is allowed. This case is happening out loud. But there may be other cases that we don't know about that are not this high profile that are also being reviewed from the same time, same era of oversight from those that were in leadership. But this case is getting the attention. Now, should they be released? Did they serve enough time? I haven't looked at, and maybe you have, what was the actual penalties then for murder in their particular case, right?
Right.
And now there's always been a question about why did they murder the mother? As if the father, that there was no, and I don't remember because there have been so many trials, what mitigating factors were addressed at the time of sentencing, because mitigating factors play a huge role in how a person is sentenced. And if they were trying to exclude the SA information, those were mitigating factors that should have been taken into account if they weren't when it came to sentencing. Now, would that be the same relevance when it came to the mother? But if the mother was aware, she would be a complicit party. And Pascal, you've been covering this case a lot. I want you to go back to the Diddy case, okay?
I was waiting for that.
Fast forward to Diddy and what we
Yeah.
see, how decades of allegations and accusations in the same industry involving people that once denied who are now coming forward. You have some crossroads between how people are victimized, how people are silenced, and how cases show up now and later.
Yeah, and that's very true. And I know that some people, even in the chat, to be honest, they're even throwing out Diddy's name as well. They're like, oh, Jose was like another Diddy. And for me, I go, okay, sure. We have another person calling out Jose Menendez, the father of these two, the Menendez brothers, saying that, yeah, I mean, he was, this Menudo, former member of Menudo, has spoken out saying, yeah, he put his hands on me too, and all that. So it does make you wonder, how deep does this dark, disturbing rabbit hole go? Does it just stop at just the Menendez brothers and this particular former member of this pop group, or is it bigger than that, right? But at the same time, we have yet to hear anybody else speak out. I have yet to hear anybody of the likes of Ricky Martin or any of that sort step forward and say, yeah, he did this to me too. We haven't heard anything of that yet at all.
Yeah.
So yet, and it could unearth, and maybe the fact that they're unearthing this and reevaluating stuff and looking at this new evidence. Well, it's not even new evidence; it's old evidence. But the fact that they're looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes, it does make you wonder if this will incentivize other people to step forward and say, yeah, no, Jose did that as well to me. And hopefully that is the case. But I'm curious, though. I mean, is this enough evidence? Again, is this enough evidence to open up a new trial?
Apparently, yes. Well, wow, I should say,
that's crazy.
Apparently, there is enough evidence and there is enough there, as I said earlier, for the DA to open up a new investigation and to look into the allegations that may not have been looked into in the very same way or more in-depthly. I also want to say this. When I talked earlier about victims and how society has seen victims, it is often harder for men, more difficult for men and boys to come forward with their stories about victimization, particularly SA victimization, than it has been for women and girls in the past, because it has been a societal, it's only a few. So others who are male coming forward, it is very difficult for them to do that, whether then and now, because society, we have grown more open to understand it. It's not that it has never occurred. I have handled a lot of cases involving the victimization of men and boys, and people are so quick to say, well, it happens more to women. But that is not the point about who it happens more to. The fact that it exists is the problematic issue. And I think this opening up an investigation and having a press conference about opening the investigation,
Yeah.
means there's some there.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously is big enough for them to sit there and say, hey, we have a letter, or, I mean, it sounds like that's the question too. It's like, is it just one letter? I mean, like how much do they have that would make them go, okay, we really need to open this up? But they have enough, it seems like, for them to actually, go do a press conference and say, hey guys, despite what we all thought, there might be more to this, and we're going to reopen this investigation and see what's up. I just, it's very interesting. You were going to say something, Sonny?
There are 18,000 law enforcement agencies across the United States of America of varying sizes, and they do different things. Many of the law enforcement agencies across the United States of America are not at full capacity for operational purposes for handling the incidents, crime, and all of the things that happen, but they make it work. To take a case of this magnitude, any case at all, to say that we are going to reinvestigate requires time, resources, and it is not a thing to take lightly. So when I say that there's a there, whether or not it comes to another trial, whether or not we see anything, they are looking, because something more than somebody else said something has been validated and verified. They have to go and now chase out what could have been missed, ignored, and really could change the dynamics of this case. It is not to say that they did not commit the crime, because we all know, based on their own testimony to their therapist, the own information, that yes, they did commit the crime. But do they need to continue to remain incarcerated based on a set of facts without mitigating information that should have been provided to substantiate the fact that they didn't have to spend a lifetime in prison for this particular crime? That could be the change and the difference to everything that this case says, and to other cases going forward. Because every time something like this happens, it doesn't impact just this case. There is a snowball effect for other cases that are in the system and in the queue that have a long-lasting impact, not on just the people who are impacted directly, but on society indirectly, because those consequences make us look at the justice system and the criminality of the justice system. And I said criminality of the justice system, to ignore information that they should have used, or things that could have been exculpatory that could have been given to the prosecution, to the defense, to lower the expectations and the sentencing of their clients.
Wow. It's interesting because you said something earlier, and it just made me remember that from what we understand in this whole trial, or the trials that these two went through, that you're right. I mean, they even said that when they asked some of the jurors what was going on, when they were going in deliberation and all that, that the men were having a hard time thinking that this was manslaughter and not just murder. And because they couldn't think of boys being victims as well, that it can't just be it can't be also boys. It just only happens to women, or, to girls. And how the women jurors were actually putting in a verdict for manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of the big tug of war going on in the room when they were, deliberating as far as the verdict goes. So it is very interesting, something that you said earlier that I wanted to tap on here really quick. Now, real quick, I have a couple questions here in the chat, and I think that are really good. Wani just asked, and I think this is a good question too. Could the brothers sue for being jailed? Could they actually do that?
Well, they were convicted because they actually committed the murders. So they were not wrongfully convicted of murder. More evidence could have been used to reduce their sentence. So I do not believe that they have a case for wrongful conviction because they did commit murder. There is no you can't have either or in this particular case, because they did commit the murder. It is a crime.
No doubt. Yeah, it definitely is a crime. And they admitted they admit to doing it, for sure. They most definitely did. With that, especially, with all that stuff that was that has floated around with this particular case, the messiness and all that with the therapist, and then some. I mean that
was a hot mess.
That's a hot mess. Okay. That is a huge mess.
It was like the therapist was a whole gangster in and of himself. It's like, are you kidding me? Like the therapist had gangster moves. Really?
Yeah, he was something else too. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's so much that he had his mistress in the house living with him too. It's a whole other conversation in itself. But you can't write this stuff. You know what I mean? That was real life.
Yes. I mean, and it's just like, what? Like, what is happening here? What is happening here?
That's what I'd like to know too. Jasmine, thank you so much for the superstar guy. I do have a question here, or a statement here. Carbonized, thank you so much. In my honest opinion, they wanted to see these boys in jail for unaliving a powerful rich man, no matter what that powerful rich man did to his children and others. Let them go. Now,
all right. Yeah. Well,
people have opinions for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's gonna be split right down the middle. But you were gonna say
money, power, and influence. You know, even though we don't know people, we always think we know them, like their lives, and oftentimes, and you and I have talked about this with the true crime world, we get so ingrained in thinking that we are friends with some of these people who have money, power, and influence, and not fans. And if this is what they have accused their father of is heinous, okay? It is heinous. And the fact that he was very influential also begs to the question, begs to the consciousness of why they couldn't tell anyone, why they didn't tell anyone, and why even if they did, no one would want to believe them. And if their mother was complicit, then who else would they tell?
That's true. I mean, that is a very, very good point. They were in their own prison, if you will, of just hell. It sounds like. But, there's that thing. There's that thing the old Bible says, the good book says, thou shalt not kill.
Every day.
Every day. Okay. Love thy neighbor. Okay. So I wonder why in that part. Okay. Because I get it. Okay. Jose. No way. Jose was a monster. Sorry. I had to put that in there. But Jose, I'm sure, if the allegations are true, was an absolute monster. But at the same time, he never got to see the inside of a jail cell himself, never got to step forward and get justice served to himself as well. He was erased from this planet, as well as possibly his enabler, his wife as well. And they're not here on this planet right now to even defend themselves, to say proof positive, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't do it. You see what I'm saying? So there's a part of me that goes, they did so much to cover up their own crimes for a long time. Right. And then they enjoyed the lap of luxury, the amount of money that the family, that their father set aside or gave to them, that they inherited, and all that. There's certain things that they did that were so monstrous. Okay, regardless of, yes, what's being alleged, unthinkable. And yes, I would think those things as well. Oh, my Lord, are you kidding me? But there's also that thing. Taking the life of someone else is not only against the law, it's against so many different things. It's against human nature, right? It's against what we do as a society, right? So that's just my own thing. They try to make it seem like it was a hit, like a mafia hit, and all that stuff as well. So that's why I go, all right, they still did this. They still took this, and it wasn't out of self-defense. Let's not forget that too. Now, I know that the defense, try to pull that out like it was self-defense, but it isn't. It was premeditated. It was planned out. They
Right.
walked in there, they did this unthinkable thing, and then now those people are no longer here. And what's interesting about this movie or this show that just came out, which is, like I said in the very beginning, this Netflix show, it's very interesting in my personal
Yeah.
opinion. Their
I'll
take,
say it. Yeah. Yeah.
it's very interesting because they make it seem as if it's a lie. The Netflix show, that
Right.
is
Yeah.
all like some planned out thing, that
Exactly.
they were like, hey, we just want the money, but we got to use something that will be so unforgivable. We'll have the court of public opinion vying for us, at least in the beginning. Oh, he touched us. Boom, goes the dynamite. Instantly, you're going to have people jumping on their side, right? And that's at least what's being depicted in this Netflix show. Now, it's a Netflix show, for crying out loud. It's not a documentary or anything of that sort. But I do wonder, could that have been an approach that could they be lying and pulling off this really big con? You see what I'm saying? So I guess that's my question to you as well.
As someone with an experience, I'll say that, who has had a daughter, and I have a whole TED talk about being married to a person who was a predator. It takes the greatest amount of restraint not to act upon your feelings. And I think, even though the father allegedly did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a system in place, a criminal justice system, flawed as it may be at times, that you have to take your chances and not take your chances. You have to take your chances with the criminal justice system and its flaws, and not take your chances in committing a murder for which you can be convicted of, even though what has happened to you has been very heinous. SA has happened to so many people across the world, of varying ages, genders. And even though people may not have believed, there was still an opportunity, because they were of age, to bring this out in a way that did not result in the murder of them committing murder or conspiracy to murder. Because in the Netflix movie, that's what it looks like, that this is about murder, money and murder, and getting over. And I think we have to encourage people to go through the process of our criminal justice systems and not take these type of matters into your own hands, because their lives have been destroyed. The entire family's life has been destroyed. And it doesn't give them the justice that they were seeking.
Right.
It doesn't give the potential perpetrators the opportunity to go through the system, because the alleged victims are now going through the system, as you said, and the perpetrators have essentially gotten away. And if there were others who were victimized, it does not give them a sense of justice either. So I don't encourage people to take these type of matters. We always say, this is what I would do, and I know I would do this. And, I used to be one of those people until it happened. And I am a mother of 4 now adults, and you don't know the road that you travel on. Now, the person that I was married to that did this, he is now deceased, but he spent decades in prison. Okay. My children and I, that's their father. We are still out here. We are still living our lives. We have come to terms with everything, but it is a process, and it is not an easy process. But I would not suggest anyone who thinks that just because something happened to you, that you are going to get away with murder and taking the criminal justice system in your hands. The vigilante way is not the way to go.
It is
I would
definitely.
not suggest that.
I'm with you 100%, Sonny. It is not the way to go. It is not the answer to all your prayers.
No, mind, body, and soul. It is not the answer to your mind because it will live with you. It is not the answer to your physical healing. It is, more importantly, not the answer to your emotional and psychological healing. Healing takes time. And if Erik and Lyle are released, they don't know the world out here. They don't know what life is out here because they were incarcerated 1989.
They don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they're still like going, hey, what is? I'm hearing about this newfangled thing called MySpace. You know what I'm saying? They so old. Okay, they're so behind.
I know, right? Oh my God! You know, when you hear about this case, the fact that you had to explain who the Menudo brothers were, right? It's like, nobody know who they.
Nobody knows.
It's so old. Them back in the day, but this is a new generation, and they don't know who. I just introduced my son to somebody who's not even that old, Maya, and I say, you don't know who she is?
Yeah, he's like, wow, you didn't know, man. They're like, hey,
and he was like, oh, I don't know, and I was like, oh Lord, I did something wrong.
They're still talking about Friendster. Okay, they're still up there talking about Friendster. Yeah, it's that old school. They don't know nothing. Okay, yes. They're so behind. They're gonna be like, what is that that's going by? That's a car. You know what I mean? Yeah. They won't know anything. They'll be so completely oblivious to anything that's going on the outside world because they've been locked up for decades, right?
Decades.
But okay, so if they were to take this into a trial, if they go, okay, this is smoking gun evidence showing proof positive, because okay, actually, before I go into that question I have, let's talk about this letter. So this letter that was written in 1988, okay, God only knows what's being written in the letter. I'm sure it's allegations of some sort of SA or some sort of DV at the hands of Jose Menendez. Mm-hmm. But I have to push this and question this because we got to remember this is a time of analog. Yes, there was a time when people wrote letters, y'all. There weren't things called emails. You know, they took out a pen, they took out a piece of paper, they wrote on it, and they handed it to people. Sometimes they put it in that box that you get. That thing is called a mailbox. Yes, everybody. Yeah. So sometimes you would, so when I look at that, how can they know for sure that this was something that was written at that time and not backlogged? Let me explain. Because it's easy for them to look at an email or look at a photo or digitized video, anything that is digital, and sit there and go, yes, this was created during this time. And yeah, you could see somebody try to corrupt it to try to change the date. When it comes to writing a letter, I could write a letter right now and say that, I don't know, Ishmael from Moby Dick wrote it in 1801. You know what I'm saying? And just, so for me, I'm going, how legitimate is it? And how can they prove positive that letter is indeed a year before this whole thing went down?
So they're going to use forensics technology. They're going to look at paper type weight. Because these things change over time, over years. We're thinking 3 decades ago or something like that. So the makeup of paper and how it was made, the context of paper, the handwriting sample, they'll put it against other handwriting samples from then. They will look at the condition of the letter, the paper, the envelope, how it was maintained. How old does it look? All of those things. There's a forensic technology that can help with some of that. And then what else did they find in relation to that? What other information? Because we're talking about a letter, but I have to believe that it was more than just one letter saying one thing. There has to be other substantiating evidence that says, we need to look at this more. So while they're saying one letter, there's got to be more than that one letter. It is not like a a sample that has been a body fluid sample or anything. There's something else there that they're looking at besides one written letter. So there's other key evidence, and they're piecing things together to say for there to have been a press conference. It is more than just one letter.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm hoping that that's the case, because obviously I'm going, okay, you get a letter and then that's it. And I'm like, okay. And if it's written, I get it that they can go and I'm sure that they can authenticate it and do whatever they need to do. But then in my mind, I think we're only here, with all due respect, I'm just being the inquisitive mother lover that I am. Okay. And the wheels are turning. And I guess we do too much true crime. Okay. But let me just say this. Just let me cook for 2 seconds.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. So you got Lyle and Erik. They obviously sat down and thought about this, doing this said thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are the possibilities of them actually starting a paper trail ahead of time before the actual attack, before the actual tragedy? So them writing these letters and so on and so forth. I'm not sitting here saying that what they did or what happened to them is not true, but I'm just asking on the other side of the fence for the other people that are out here that are naysayers thinking that, that believe that they were attacked viciously by this father of a monster of a father, right? Could it possibly be that they sat down and planned this out well in advance before they actually went and did their thing? Because the way that they break it down and what we've heard before, they were out here, desperately trying to get the weapons, desperately trying to get everything together as quickly as possible. But what if that timeline is not entirely true? What if they were actually putting things together over time and then they finally got what they put together, what they got? But what they tell people out here is that this was spur of the moment. We did it quickly. We were desperately trying to get all these things together. But what if they were actually planning this out well in advance?
So anything is possible, except if they were that well planned, if they had done all of that, then they actually missed a part where they could go to jail for 35 years plus.
Right.
Okay. So I think with all of the planning it doesn't seem like they planned out well enough to bring forth the stuff right away. And the fact that how they would navigate the release of the money, where the will actually was, who was in charge, and whether they were both emotionally equipped and ready for the homicide, that one wouldn't break and spill the beans. So could they have planned to do it? I think so. Yes, they did. I think it was a quick plan. And I'm saying quick. It could have been a couple of months. But a long-term plan, I don't think it's realistic to think that they planned this over a longer period of time, put the letter in. We're just hearing about the letter now, all of these years. So if they did that as a plan, they don't need to plan anything else.
Right.
Because they are not equipped for that. And I do get they did it for the money, but even if for the money, which they clearly wanted the money. I mean, who wouldn't want the money? Even if they did not have a well thought out plan on how to, money only goes for so far. People with wealth, if they're not generating and continuing to build wealth, see, wealth has to build wealth. If wealth is just constantly flowing outwards, they had no plan to continue to generate the dollars, because the dollars won't generate if you don't have a plan. People who don't have money think they know how to maintain money, but you really don't. People that don't have money, that get a lot of money, often lose it really quickly because they don't understand how wealth building and wealth generation and capitalism works when it comes to longevity. They know all the things that they want to buy, but they don't know all of the ways in which they should invest so their money stream lasts longer. And that was not a good plan because they were buying all of the flashy things. The difference, you can always tell somebody that's rich as opposed to somebody that's wealthy. You know, rich people, they wear khakis and loafers. Poor people want to go out and look really flashy and buy the most expensive thing because they think if I paid $250 for a suit and I only have $50, then, you know, and I look good for that one event that I'll never wear the suit at again or not that often, then, you know, I feel like I'm rich, you know. But wealthy people, they are constantly focused on generating more wealth. Mm-hmm. Erik and Lyle were not focused on generating more wealth. So this was not a well thought out plan. The murder might have been one thing. The money getting it was something else. How to maintain their longevity in it was not ever a part of the plan.
Interesting. You know, I guess, you know, part of it, I keep thinking the young, dumb, you know, also overly privileged kids,
exactly,
you know, a little bit spoiled, you know.
Oh no, they was a lot spoiled. They was a lot spoiled.
Hella spoiled, right?
I mean, what you saw the watch? I mean, seriously, look. I broke down trying to get this little watch, and I just you know, it took me a long time just to get one of these little things. And
shoot.
And I was like, let me hurry pay this off because I can't have payments. That you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were hella spoiled. And playing tennis. I
mean, well, they also got arrested for stealing, you know, burglaring other people's homes, so on and so forth. And these are kids who grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. So in a way, in my mind, I keep thinking, okay, there's a level of privilege that they grew up with, you know, and maybe they felt like they were entitled to be able to spend the money and do whatever the hell they want, and which is why. As soon as they got the money, they started, you know, going after it like gangbusters, right? They started spending it, buying all kinds of crazy cars, etc. Because one, they're young and dumb and hyper overly privileged, right? So, so I guess, you know, I see your point on that.
So,
you know,
so the plan, like, what was the plan? Okay, we kill mom and dad. Okay, that was part of the plan,
right?
And then we're gonna spend it.
Right. I mean, absolutely. I mean,
like, what kind of job? Like,
no. But that's the thing. Like, I keep thinking that's the thing. Like, they were just young, and they weren't thinking further than just doing the unaliving and getting the money, and then let's just have fun. Let's just go kick it. Blah blah blah. And then apparently, you know, I know that Lyle was trying to, you know, invest in some restaurant chain and all that stuff. So he was trying to do something with it, but at the same time, he was trying to go and have fun, right? And do his thing too. So again, you know, that could be looked at both sides. It could be like they're finally free, like freedom from the clutches of an overbearing, you know, father, you know. Monster of a father. We're free. We're finally free. Let's just go and do our thing. But then also it could be other side of, we finally got this money. Let's just, man, we did it. Let's go get this money.
Erik wasn't really free. Pascal, remember, Erik was traumatized by the whole, so free physically, but remember we talked psychologically, emotionally. He wasn't free.
No. Yeah, he was even more trapped. Even more. He was the one with the most, you know, clearly the most regret and more of the you know, with the heavy conscience for sure. But as far as, you know, as far as the trial, like if this was to go to trial, would they be revisiting everything all over again? Or would we just be looking at like, okay, we already know all this evidence. We already know all this information. Let's just talk about this letter. Let's talk about this kid from Menudo and whatever else we have new. Or are we just going back all over again through memory lane all over again?
So see, I don't know, because the appeals have already been done on this case. Can they go back on the record and look at what the case was this would be a new case, and they might be able to get in some of the evidence, but I am not really 100% sure how this looks, because even if they have the other person come in as a witness, there have been so many times that this case has been retried. They would have to have a lot of evidence to say this is what we're trying. On a case that's more than 30 years old, they would be able to use some of it, but what they could use, they could probably use the stuff that was not used in the other cases. They could definitely use that, and they could add in some of the things that from the previous case, and the fact that there was a conviction. I don't know if there will be a full trial or if they will look and say there was substantial evidence that allowed us to rethink, and whether or not their conviction, they could have a new sentence on their conviction, which allows them to be released. Because sometimes you don't have to try the full case. And in fact, in my own particular situation, there was something else that happened in another case, that several cases in the state of New Jersey, some had to be retried, and then the conviction had to be redone on these cases. So there's two ways to think about this. They could have a retrial, well, not a retrial, but the conviction could be adjusted based on what they currently have right now, as opposed to a full trial. And then some cases might require a full trial.
Interesting. Yeah, because I am kind of curious. I know that, the DA has to do everything, they look into it, do their investigation. If there's enough for them to reopen this case and do another trial, then that might be on the table, or that might be in the cards here in the near future. But it is interesting to think that they would have to relive and go through all of this stuff all over again, if this reopens the case and calls for another trial.
I could see a changing of the conviction. I could see a changing of the conviction, not vacating the conviction because there was a murder, but I could see that they would reduce the sentence or realign the sentence with the new evidence that has been obtained. So what the sentence that they had, they could readjust that and say, okay, they might not get out this year, well, not this year, but maybe next year, and then they will have served their full sentence based on the new information that was determined, because there was still a murder.
Right. Oh, yeah. A crime.
So they can't vacate. It's not like a drug sentence where they can totally vacate that, because they did commit the murder.
Right.
But they could reduce their time.
But if it's a reduced time, then they could walk.
Yes.
If it's a situation, because they've been in there for 35 years, if I'm correct, right? So
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So, right? Yeah, it's like 35 years. So if they're
we can't add, but somebody tell us how many years it's been. I think 35, 30.
I think, but
something like that.
But no matter what, if it's 35 years and they say, okay, let's reduce the sentence from being life in prison to whatever, and they've already did an allotment of time,
right? Yes, 35 years.
35 years. So that means that there's a possibility where they could just walk out.
Because then they could have life so they could be sentenced to life. So there's life with the possibility of parole, life without the possibility of parole. And if they got life with the possibility of parole, then they could go and the sentence at the time of the murders was, say, 25 years or 30 years, then they could have, then they could have a parole hearing for them to be released from prison.
Wow.
If that makes sense. So there's a lot of new nuances that could come from. Now, mind you, one of the last attorneys that they had was really good. She was a really good attorney. The lady, she was she was really dogged on her. They talked about her in the trial, but she was really good. So I don't think that they would be saying that the ineffective counsel was one of the things. So this is an evidence type of thing, which is why the DA's office came out.
Yeah.
There's always nuances, whether you had ineffective counsel, whether something was not placed on the record during all of your appeals. So I'm thinking, if anything, if this is valid and verifiable evidence that they can use, we're thinking a resentence, a change in disposition of sentence from life without to life with the possibility, reduction of sentence that way, and then release. They'd still have to go before the parole hearings, and then admit to everything that they've already admitted to, and then, kind of state that they're not a danger to society.
I am kind of curious, what it would be like for them if they were to be set free, right? Like what that would be like, because them coming out, I mean, obviously all that, I'm assuming that the money is gone. So, I am kind of curious as to what life would be like if they were to step out and actually get free.
Yeah. I don't think they would have a problem with money. There are people who are released, so they're high profile individuals. They would be doing interviews. They would write a book. They would do
books.
more movies. So their life would not look as someone else's life might look, who got released, who spent a lot of time. They have celebrity status, even though they're incarcerated, and they would have opportunity to make money in a way that would look different than someone who did not have any resources at all. And people would donate to them and give to them. So they have more potential for financial opportunity than someone who wouldn't have it. And when you think about individuals who have been released from prison, who have this type of status, the person that Kim Kardashian, the woman who did who was released years ago on a drug conviction, she does a lot of speaking engagements. I think she just spoke at the RNC one year. So those type of individuals who have high profile, their lives look probably better than some of our lives look financially.
Yeah. I mean, they're going I'm sure they're going to be just fine, for sure. I mean, there's going to be book deals, movie deals, TV show deals, all kinds of deals, I'm sure, if they were to walk out free. I don't think that's happening. I will be honest. I could see a reduced sentence. I could see a reducing of sentence, but I don't see them walking out all free, breathing in this freedom air. I just don't see it personally.
Yeah, it was Alice Marie Johnson. Thanks for who put that up there. Alice Marie Johnson. Yeah, I don't know if they would just walk out like tomorrow, but because we also don't know. Thanks, Nellie, for I couldn't think of her name. I don't know if they would just walk out like you said. But also, now you would have an opportunity to interview them on your show.
I mean, that would be fire. Come on now. I would love
that.
Look,
I want to be on here with you when you interview them so we can ask some life important questions.
Everything.
You trying to leave me out. Yeah, I want we want to know. Pascal show, we want to know. We want to know.
I want it all. Okay. I want all the information. Tell me everything. Okay.
Look, and I'll be like this. What? And who else?
Yeah. What else do you know? Okay. And who else is involved? Did you guys really do this all by yourselves, or do you have somebody else help you? You know what I mean? I got questions, y'all. I got questions. But Sonny, again, I really appreciate you coming on and just talking to us about this. I had a lot of questions about this, and I got the picture's a lot more clearer now in regards to this particular case. So thank you so much for being on the show with me.
Thank you for having me. You're one of the few people that I'm going to shut down so hanging out with the shorties. Because I told you, I said I'm with my son, and I had to drive like an hour back home to get.
I appreciate it.
But I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. I've wanted to be on with you, before. We've kind of had this thing trying to connect and everything. This is great. Your audience is great. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And look, y'all know I didn't like dress up. Y'all can see I got little bags and stuff on because
you look great.
This was like a low-key weekend kind of thing. But this is a very important topic. Pascal, I want to thank you for all of the shows and the great information that you bring to the public in unpacking these critical cases. This is another critical case that I look forward to following you and just your audience and how you continue to unpack these things. It is really important for us to have shows like yours to get to the nuances that we don't get on regular television. When I'm on TV and I'm covering something, we don't get to have these type of in-depth conversations, real, raw, comfortable with folks chiming in. I love this as an opportunity. Thank you. I hope you will invite me back again.
Oh, come on.
For a low-key segment where I don't have to be like, I like this. Thank you for your expertise and the conversations that you had for me in, moving forward with some of my A-game stuff. I look forward to seeing you again. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you.
I do want to say this too, and if you guys really do appreciate it, I see all the purple heart emojis and all that in the chat. I really do appreciate it. But please, guys, go over to her YouTube channel. Okay, it is at I am the Sunny Slaughter. Okay, go check it out. Subscribe. Show some love. Okay.
Follow me on Twitter now. Don't forget, or X, whatever they call it today. Y'all X. Follow me across all the social media.
Yes, her handle on X is at Sunny _ Slaughter. I can't talk today.
No, it's all right. You're doing good. Just
thank you. It's I don't know why it's a Saturday, but at Sunny _ Slaughter. So go over there. And follow her on X, follow her on YouTube, show some love. Okay, she's very insightful, and you're gonna be seeing a lot more of her on the show. Come on now, okay? I've been working on getting you on this show for like a damn year, so of course I'm gonna get you on as much as I possibly can.
I love being on with you. You are like, we can just, I don't know, we have real conversations. It's real raw. It's not. Sometimes the other television, I gotta be like,
well, you only get like 30 seconds, and it's TV. It's you get a few sound bites, and then they say, thank you so much.
You be on there too doing it. And you just say, okay. And here, I love the live stuff. I like this. You told me this was better too. So
lives are fun. Lives are fun. That's why I say we're gonna do it live, because it's a lot easier that way.
I know.
Less pressure. But Sunny, thank you so much for being on. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great one, and we'll be talking soon. Okay.
Talk soon, everyone. See you soon. Woo. All right. Bye.
Huge shout out to Sunny. Okay, Sunny Slaughter. Go check her out. Please go subscribe to her channels. Go follow her on X and all that. She is very great. Obviously, extremely informative. And she's just a great human being, all around great human being. And she's going to be she's actually in my next episode of What They Do in the Dark, which hopefully will be out tomorrow. So I really look forward to having you guys hear that conversation and all that, because that's a new episode. Obviously, that's coming out tomorrow. I can't wait to share that with you guys. It should be a really great one. But Sunny is the expert that I bring onto the show, talking about a bunch of stuff on What They Do in the Dark. So that will be out tomorrow, hopefully. It's been a busy week, and I'm trying to get as much as I can in as quickly as possible. Okay, guys. But let me get some of these super chats and these members. Oh, new members. Yes. Thank you so much for becoming thank you so much for gifting a member. Rianne, thank you so much. And again, for those of y'all who just became members, all right, or have been gifted a membership, okay, she's just giving you guys some positivity. So all I ask for you guys to do is to pay it forward. give some positivity to somebody else. Open the door for somebody. Make an extra sandwich and give it to a friend of yours. Hey, I see that you're hungry. Here you go. Whatever it may be, okay? Just some positivity, all right? That's all I ask. Pay it forward. Hold the door open for somebody. Tell somebody they look good. You know what I mean? Just make sure it's someone you know. Don't just go up to some person walking down the street and go, damn, girl, you look good. That's weird. And that will cause problems. So don't do that. Don't, okay? Don't. Trust me, you don't want that to happen. Okay, moving on. Mimi, thank you so much for the super stickers. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? You don't do that. That's no bueno. That's no bueno. Oh, Rihanna's like, I always do that. Why would you go and randomly just tell somebody they look good? I mean, there's ways you could say that in a tasteful manner without coming off like you're like some weird, lurker in the background. Like, damn, girl, you look good. That's weird. You see what I'm saying? See, and girls can do that. They can go up and go, oh, girl, you look good, girl. Yes. You guys could do that all day long. Dudes can't do that. Brothers can't do that. I'm sorry, we can't. We can't. And I don't recommend, because it gets you it's weird and it gets you in trouble. Okay? But yeah, you're right. It's 720. Dudes like compliments too, man. They do. Okay? But the way it comes out of our mouths sometimes is a little aggressive. It just comes off wrong. You know what I mean? But girls all day long, you know what I mean? That sundress be sunning. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I'm sure you've walked into somewhere and somebody's come up to you and going, yes. And you're like, ladies, come on now. Come on now. And it's a random person. It's not your friend. X out the friends and your man or your woman. I'm just saying. Just telling the truth. Just telling the truth. And a guy, let's just say a straight male came up to you and said that, no, they ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. They ain't. No. Unless they're wanting something from you. Like your number, not something dangerous. I'm just saying they, Okay. Is catcalling still a thing, by the way? Speaking of which, is catcalling still a thing? Why am I asking these questions right now when we just talked about the Menendez brothers? You know why I'm asking is because it just popped up in my head. You know what I mean? Why? You know what I'm saying? Why is there catcalling? Why does it even exist? Does it still exist? I'm asking for a friend. I ain't never seen it in real life. Huh. Interesting. Something to think about. Somebody said, what? Whoops. Raven said, don't suck on the Blarney Stone. What is that? Oh, chai. Don't you suck on the Blarney Stone. What is that? What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, the Blarney Stone. Oh, the Blarney Stone. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. Okay. What is that? Happy Saturday, everybody. That is the show. Oh, it means lying. That's what, wait, hold on. That's what it means? It means lying? That's a long sentence to just tell somebody's lying. Okay. That's new to me. Don't suck on the Blarney Stone. That means don't lie. That's a new one for me. And I'm wearing green. How fitting is that? And it's not St. Patsy's Day. Anyway, guys, I'm going to write that one down. Don't suck on the Blarney Stone. That's a new one for me. Okay. But, oh, Jasmine, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. You're looking good today, Pascal. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Fire. Yes. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, work it, girl. Yes. I've seen it millions of times. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, guys, it's time to get going. I appreciate all y'all. Thank God catcalling doesn't exist anymore. Maybe in my neck of the woods it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it still exists somewhere else in the world, but not that I've seen in a long time. Thank God. But anyway, guys, it's nasty. It's just nasty. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on other platforms, please and thank you. All right. Don't forget, hit that follow button. Follow me on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm on Rumble as well, guys. We are live on Rumble as well. So make sure, if you're watching on Rumble, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow me over there, please and thank you. I got a bunch of stuff that's going to be coming out on all these channels, okay? I also got that second channel, the Pascal Show Clips. I got a new video that just dropped while we were live. So go check that out, okay? Oh, I forgot. Thank you so much, Lil Patty. The poll. So out of 218 votes, that's very interesting. Where did it go? There we go. 60% of y'all say set them free. Like Amistad. Set them free. Okay. So we'll see what happens. That's interesting. The people have spoken. 60% think that they should be set free. That's interesting. Okay. But please be sure to hit that join button down below. Become a member, please, and thank you. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. I also have locals, locals.com/The Pascal Show. Go check that out as well. That would be amazing. And also, man, you're missing out on some dope merch. Go check out pascalmerch.com. A lot of really great Halloween t-shirts, hoodies, etc. Go check it out. There's going to be something there you're going to love. I guarantee it. So much that when you're walking down the street, somebody's going to go up to you and go, yes, that t-shirt be t-shirting. Yes. Yes, queen. That's what's going to happen. Even to the dudes, they're going to say, yes, queen. It's going to feel weird, but it's going to feel good inside because you know you look good because you're wearing what I made you. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. I need that shirt too, you know? Anyway, have a great Saturday, guys. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.